So now that we've got our zipper completely attached, we want to double check, make sure we have all of our tape removed from the outside. And then at this point, we want to consider anything that we need to do before we actually seal the inside layer to the outside layer around the zipper, because once we do this, we won't be able to get back into this inflatable air chamber. One of the big things that you want to check is to make sure you didn't leave something in there, like a glass jar or a pair of scissors. You want to make sure that you've got everything out of there, that you don't want to have to cut back in to fish something out. So also at this point, it is good to note that there are some features that can be added, such as eye holes, and those are normally done right where this breathing emergency breathing valve is. You'll basically have a patch of clear material that we basically cut an area, we put some clear material, and on the outside of the suit, we can either do a bunch of tiny perforation holes that we use a little hammer and die to punch a bunch of holes, or we can just do some circles, like eye hole circles, and then in either case, whether you do the eye hole circles or whether you do all the perforations, we'll glue some clear material on. So you might want to do that at this point. You don't have to, because we could go ahead and seal the whole whale up, and then you have to cut a big hole on the inside where you're going to have clear material. When you cut that big hole, that gives you access to go and do all the perforations, to do the eye holes, whatever you need to do. So some people like to do it before they seal it up, or some people like to do afterwards. There's not really necessarily a benefit either way. It's just whatever you feel comfortable with. The hole you have to cut to be able to see out of is fairly large, so it gives you pretty good access to the suit. But just something to consider. The other option too is that somebody might want a tunnel, an access tunnel for male, anal, whatever. Again, that can be done now, or honestly, I kind of prefer to do it after the suit is sealed, because you can put it on and you can figure out where on the inside and where on the outside to cut the holes, and then the way that we bring the tunnel through is glued around the rim on the inside and outside of the suit, not on the not inside the sealed chamber area. So I just thought I would mention that, because some people might feel more comfortable to do some of those things before they seal the suit up. So it's just something to think about. Is there anything you need to do before you take this next step? So if not, then let's go ahead and take the next step. And to do this, what we're going to do is we're going to take a similar approach that we did with the zipper, where we start up here at the nose. We can do it either on the top or the bottom. It doesn't matter which one we do first. We're going to take the other layer, which is currently on the outside, because the whole thing is turned inside out. But this layer that's on the outside right now will become our inner layer. And what we're going to do is we're going to do a fold under seam, where we basically take it and fold it under. I want to line up these two factory seams, and then we are going to glue that all the way around in that fashion, that folded under fashion. We want to do roughly about a ½ an inch, so about like that. And when we do this, we want to glue it down so that it has about a ½ inch of clearance from where this fold is to where the zipper is. Don't get any closer than that, because we're going to come back and we're going to put a strip that's 1 inch, and it's going to be sitting on half on the inner layer and half on this outer layer. It needs to have this area right here next to the zipper to glue to. If you start creeping close like this, we get a lot of crafters that do that. It's a serious problem, because if you have a gap on this fold under seam and it's not completely airtight, then you're relying on that little tiny strip. And let me tell you something, something that's that thin might be glued at first, and then after you flex the material enough or you inflate it enough, eventually that's not really enough area to stay glued. So take my word for it, give yourself space. A minimum of ½ inch. Heck, you can go more. If you need to do it, go more. It's just better to have clearance. And one of the other biggest problems is when you get real close and if it starts to leak, your bubbles end up coming out from the fabric, and it's hard to trace exactly where it is leaking under and getting into the fabric of the zipper. So biggest mistake people make, getting too close, and then they end up with leaks, and then it's kind of a nightmare to fix. So leave yourself plenty of room when you do this. So we'll get started.